Hi everyone, it's Alicia Brashe here at Cosmic Gateway. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to July. Wow, I have to say, looking into July and the energies and all the goings on, I kept looking at it going, whoa, whoa. So we're finally here. I'm recording this. We've just had the solar eclipse, which was in Cancer, which has really felt like as we've led up into this, my feeling, my sense was that this month of July is really about restoration and bringing in new light and pieces of the puzzle coming together. And so, in order for that to happen, there's kind of been this release that we've been going through over the past couple of weeks, which for me personally has made me withdraw and go quite internal. So, I just want to say thank you for everyone, your likes, your comments, your shares. I know I haven't been as active on social media because I have been pulled into that internal withdrawing space, and sometimes that's really necessary. In our ascension path, and we go through those periods from time to time, and I see the importance of them because quite often what's happening is there's such an internal shifting process, and that's where all shifting takes place or begins, is the internal process. So as we're going through and shifting and clearing and closing separation within us, the distractions of the outside world can be a real hindrance. So that's why we feel that need to withdraw and go within, because the reality, or the new reality that's starting to emerge, starting from within us, is very different to what's being showed in the 3D reality. And so it can interfere with that process from time to time. So I just want to thank you all for your patience. But after going to sleep and having that kind of, it was a real clear out. And I know that it's kind of been building to that, and I got the heads up about a week ago. But yet it can put us into some real uncomfortable places. There's been a lot of memories and a lot of feelings and old stuff that's sort of been coming up for evaluation and release as that happens before we start to step into a new phase and a new cycle. And of course, there's always cycles within cycles, but this one feels like a really important one. So I guess some of the things that I want to share, some of the insights that have come to me while going through this, is that dream space has been very active. So a little bit different to what it was earlier in the year, because I know there was a stage earlier in the year. I can't remember which month it was, but going back a few months ago, there was this, like, a lot of coordination and a lot of stuff happening on the higher realms and the high dimensional levels that kind of take place as we go into that sleep space. So, that's where sleep is so much more, there's so much more emphasis and importance put on that sleep space, because that's where the other aspects of us can go and do, whether it's clearing or organizing or coordinating, and quite often we come back and we have moments of awarenesses of what's taken place, but we don't fully grasp it. It makes complete sense while we're there, and we come back into this reality. It doesn't make full sense, but it's like putting the pieces together. And so there's been this kind of push forward and then this standstill, which has, allowing us to clear, as I said before, clear out the energetic vessel to allow this new energy to come through. And this morning was probably the first morning I've woken up in weeks that I've actually felt good, and you can feel that the difference of the space that we're in. And I think this will only continue throughout July. So throughout July, we've got two eclipses. We've got one that's just taken place on the 2nd and the 3rd. And then we've got another one, I think it's around the 17th, and I'll do another video around that time too. Very much a lot of focus on masculine and feminine balancing, and that has been, a big focus over the last couple of months. The importance of twins and divine partnership has been a real focus point in my work over the last couple of weeks, but more so in dream space and the information that's been coming through, which has started, a whole new round of artwork for me. So, often I will paint things that come through just so I can try and explain it. But there's like this new grid template that's sort of slowly coming in for a lot of people who have been, you know, going down the divine partnership path and starting to bring in that new template, and it's coming in bit by bit. And so there's obviously this isn't going to resonate for everyone, but I just want to put this information out there. There's been a lot of merging that's been going on through the higher realms, and what happens is, it starts in energy form first, and then it starts to make its way down in the physical, so that we can merge the difference and the separation between what we experience in a 5D consciousness and what we experience in our physical reality. And so that's sort of blending, it's kind of bringing it up and merging together. So I know that one of the offshoots of going through that merging, which can be quite intense sometimes, is that there's this shared mental space, there's a shared emotional space, and there's shared physicality. And a lot of you would know what I'm talking about when you start to share experiences. And so there has been a lot of back and forth of, old patterns and mental patterns that are being cleared out for the partnership, the third energy that connects the two. And I've been seeing this a lot in my energy sessions. So I think what some people have been struggling with is connecting with their counterpart, and telepathically linking. So they're finding that they're processing a lot of the mental stuff that they're going through. So it can be really hard to distinguish what's yours and what's not yours. And obviously, people who are even hypersensitive, picking up on what's happening within the soul group, within that collective field, and it is creating this ripple effect, and it is a really crucial part of the ascension process, as every single aspect of each and every one of you. We all bring in different templates for different aspects. It's relationships is just one of the part. There's the financial, there's the government systems, there's so many different facets, and each person who has been assigned to certain missions is working on bringing that in. As we're seeing more and more the collapse of the 3D structure, this new structure has to be built, and it starts in energy form first, and we kind of bring that into manifestation. So, what else? Triggers, triggers, I want to bring this up because they're so unpleasant when you're going through them, but they're such a necessary part of our evolution because they help to release. So, when they come up, it's so important not to be in a reactive state, because that just kind of perpetuates the cycle. If you get triggered by something and then you're lashing out, then you're kind of rippling it. That has come into your reality for a reason. That's come in so that you can process something. So work with the energy of it, and really ask those questions. Ask, what is this teaching me? What is this helping me to release? How is this assisting me in my process, rather than taking it from, a negative standpoint. Really asking, how is this assisting me, and move through it. So what I've been noticing is there's a lot of things that really divinely constructed to help us through that process, and what appears in 3D isn't necessarily the truth. That I see it sometimes, and it's so clear that it's just a simulated experience to help us evolve. And when you can see it like that, it doesn't take away the emotions and the heightened sensitivity and whatever we need to do, but it's like going through it with that higher awareness and that higher perspective to help us push through it. And it gets easier and easier and easier the more consciousness you can put into that process. What else? So the image, I've been getting this image now for a couple of days, and it's really felt quite foggy. Energy has felt quite thick, quite dense. There's different ways of looking at it. I did put out that post about the interference energy, and that was very real. Like, I had so many people contact me to tell me about their experiences of how there's a lot of intrusive thoughts going on. I was, certainly not excluded from that process. I had a couple of really heavy days, and I finally kind of pushed through it. And I came out of a session and I was like, oh, I feel back to me. Oh, this feels amazing. I haven't felt that in days. And it was while I was in that higher vibrational state that the messages started to come through. And there's this interference energy that's going on that's kind of, you know, I don't like to get into the dark versus light agenda. I really don't, because I see that everything has a purpose. And, that interference energy, you can look at it from the sense that it's just helping reinstate our self-mastery. It's helping us grow and evolve. It's allowing us to go through initiations or tests to put the tools into practice of what we've learned, how we can master our thoughts, how we can master our energy, our emotional state. So there's that perspective, I guess, and the other perspective is it feels like this threshold that we're pushing up against. So this image that I keep getting is kind of this new reality threshold for the collective, and as we're moving through it, there's this kind of tight, narrow. It appears quite dark and dull, and foggy, and it's like we're moving through this time and space and we're pushing up against dimensions almost. So if you look at like 3, 4, 5 and beyond, there's like this threshold that we push through that kind of narrows. And I always see the fourth dimension as a place of initiation and testing that we go through on the ascension path, and that's where everything gets really highlighted and distorted, and things get kind of, there's more, what's the word I want to say? There's more highs, like extreme highs and extreme lows, and that's kind of the space that it's kind of been feeling like we're pushing through and beyond. So if you look at it from that perspective, if there is that pushback or interference energy, we are on some major thresholds, which I think we'll start to see over the coming months. One of the guidance that has come through for me is meditation is so important, and connecting with source energy, connecting and holding that light, that new energy that's available and starting to come more and more available to us as we start to move into this new solar cycle. We're starting to see sunspots now of this new solar cycle that's going to, approximately start to come in around the end of this year and move into 2020. So there is new light information encoding, which is helping switch on our DNA, allowing us to expand our consciousness, and that's pushing us through. So it is a very exciting time, even if we feel like it's null and void at some points. Just see that as a necessary process to push out some of the old, that you can make more space to invite more light in for yourself, and then into the planet, because we are vessels, we are antennas. But if you look at some of the work from Dolores Cannon, I love that. Some of the second wavers, literally their purpose is to hold the light on the planet. We are a direct connection because we come from those realms, so we can hold light codes and needle in like acupuncture points into the planet. So I just want to take this time to acknowledge each and every one of you, because being on the front line is incredibly challenging at times, but it's so rewarding. And we wouldn't have come here if it wasn't for this grand awakening. And sometimes taking the vastness of the bigger picture in is so important in the harder times. So that vision again, and pushing through that foggy place is indeed a fact that helps us connect and allow our light to grow stronger, it connects us with our faith, because when we're in the darkness and we can't see the light so brightly, we have to hold on to our faith and our knowing, our inner guidance, our inner GPS to navigate through those places. And it takes me back to an article that I wrote a couple of years ago, and this beautiful analogy that you know, the light workers on the planet have that kind of inner connection to that inner knowing, that higher perspective, um, that light. And as we kind of push forward, when we move forward, we do that through our faith, through our guidance, and we kind of clear the way to show and be way showers for others who perhaps don't have a stronger connection to that. So, keep that in mind. It's such a beautiful visual of just kind of moving forward into this new light. As we move through it, we light up those pathways for others. So, I think that's all I want to share. Thank you for everyone who has contacted me in regards to the Lightworkers Call to Duty and the Divine Partnership Mastery programs. I have felt guided to kick them off in August. So I will get back to each and every one of you with the details of that. And of course, if you're interested, you can contact me. I'll put my email below. You can contact me and we can have a conversation. But I have got the guidance that July is not the right energy environment to start new. It's about things coming into place, things falling into place, and as we move into August, it's more of a push forward energy, a creation energy. So, if you feel guided to that call to get connected with your soul work and want to join a collaborative team to help kickstart that, please contact me and we can have a chat there. And also the subscription. So I've just recorded about a 20-minute guided process of connecting with that light and some energy techniques. So if that's something that you would love to be a part of, I really encourage you to, click on the subscription link below, which will be in the detail description box below. And I thank you all for those who have already subscribed. And finally, I just want to finish off on the acknowledgement, because I was having this I have so many beautiful conversations, and I'll be sharing more cosmic conversations throughout July. But just a real acknowledgement for each and every one of you, because this is massive work. We are in the process of evolution, and even though sometimes it seems as though nothing's happening, if you just take a look back over the last couple of years and see how much has changed in your own life and see how much has changed on a collective scale, it is quite fast moving, and it's really sacred work. It's really important work that each and every one of you are doing each day, getting up, and the people that you're interacting with and sharing knowledge and sharing information and supporting one another. So just wanted to acknowledge you all. In times that it feels challenging, this is monumental. So much love to you all. Let's get into the intuitive guidance insights for the next fortnight. I chose a couple cards here. So this will be card A, or reading A. That one there. So tune in to the one that speaks to you the most. This will be B, card B, or reading B. And lucky last, C here, reading C. So much love to you all, beautiful soul tribe, and I will be connecting with you all soon. Mwah, much love.